Welcome to the 45th episode of Tuesdays with Tobe. My name is Tobe Frierson, and I am thrilled to be back before you today with my very first interview on the Tuesdays with Tobe platform. I could not be more excited about what I'm about to bring forward to you all over the next 4 episodes, starting with today. So we're not going to waste time with a recap from last week. Even though last week's topic is very, very important, this is actually an extension of it. So we're going to get right into it. But before we do that, we got to look behind me, and we always have to say our family rules. Remember, we've been using these as words of affirmation within our lives, as a way to speak positive things to ourselves. So please say them with me. Ready, read. During Tuesdays with Tobe, we will use kind words. Do your best. Always be honest. Forgive and forget. Be happy. Count your blessings. Laugh at yourself. Stay positive and love one another. And so we are ready to get started, and this is simply part 1 of Kelly's journey, and we're going to call it the discovery. Hello everyone, as promised, I am here on the Tuesdays with Tobe set with my dear friend Kelly. We are super excited to get into her story and her journey today. So Kelly, welcome to Tuesdays with Tobe.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here today, sis. And I know I've already told the audience, and you're aware of this as well, you are my very first interview. So I want to be very responsible with this, but also just forthcoming that this is new for me. So we're going to guide each other through this. Is that okay?
That's right.
All right. And to all of you, thank you. Yeah, to all of you who have joined us today, we are super excited to bring Kelly's story forward. This is something that she wanted to do. And so our hope for this is that you all can see yourselves maybe in someone's trial or in their struggle or in their journey, and also see how she's progressing forward through it. And maybe that will provide some nuggets for you about your own situation. So that's our intent today. And we just appreciate your vulnerability, your heart, and we definitely appreciate your story and your journey. So thank you. So we're just going to get started right away. Kelly, prior to you even knowing that something was going on in your body, you were an educator and on a path for administration one day, and all of a sudden you found yourself in doctor's offices and they were talking about the possibility of cancer. So can you take us to the very beginning of that and kind of get us up to speed to right now? So the discovery phase, what happened?
Sure. So I am 38 years old now, but I was 37 when I discovered the cancer. And what actually happened, I was doing my monthly breast self-exams, and I found a lump. It hurt. And I went back and forth in my mind about, well, I'm not 40 yet, so should I even go? I talked to my mom a lot about just breast health in general. I listened to a bunch of breast care talks, and just kind of weighed different things that I had learned and from those talks. And then I decided, this pain that I keep feeling it's concerning because it keeps coming back. And so I need to go and figure out what this is about. So one day I was at work, it was December of 2020, and I was just sitting at my desk, and I felt like somebody stabbed me in my right breast.
Wow.
And it was so excruciating, like you couldn't ignore it. You know how sometimes feel a little pain and then it's nothing. We just push through it and it's over. We never feel it again. Well, this time it was like, oh no, you're going to listen to me and you're gonna go see about me. So I did. I was able to get an appointment that day with my primary care provider, and she confirmed that she felt a lump in my breast and in my lymph nodes. So she made an appointment for a mammogram, and she scheduled it for an urgent appointment. So that got the ball started. Of course, I was terrified. I prayed to God to help me get to my car because I just felt overwhelmed with fear. I mean, you just opened up the floodgates. You have no idea what you're going to be told from that point on.
Correct.
So I got on the elevator and I just prayed, God help me get to my car before I break down.
Can I ask a quick question with that? Thank you for taking us back to December 2020. December 2020 is where she's talking about. And so in that first, like you said, you felt it first, doctor felt it, then also said, oh, your lymph nodes. At that point, do doctors ever use the word cancer? Does she even say that word?
No, because they don't want you. I have a very good primary care provider, and they don't want you to jump to conclusions. And one thing, my mom, as a nurse, she's retired now, but she always said through each phase is we're just gathering information to kind of keep me calm, because everybody knows I will go.
Since we share that, you know, I'm a tad bit high strung. Tuesdays with Tobe audience, I'm a little bit high strung, and Kelly is as well. We will go off the end. So that's great to hear. So after that initial appointment, like you said, you asked the Lord on that elevator, Father, help me get to this car. I do not want to break down. I'm sure He helped you with that.
I did.
But then, can you tell us, who was that first phone call? Who did you let know you had just been to the doctor? The doctor felt things as well. What happened after that?
The first phone call was to my parents. And they just, like I said, my mom just said, you know, stay calm. Daddy was, you know, baby girl, we're praying for you.
Are you a daddy's girl?
Of course. I am the epitome of a daddy's girl.
She's a daddy's girl.
And so, you know, you turn to your parents for that love and support.
So
and so they were the first people that I reached out to. And my mom and my aunt came up that next week, because even getting the mammogram scheduled was a whole story.
Wait, we're in COVID. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I did not even bring you all up on that. This is all happening during COVID,
Right.
and so I'm sure COVID impacted the
Right,
ability
COVID
to get appointments.
is in the background. It's just lurking. Right. So, you know, like I said, it's December 2020, so you got Christmas, you got COVID, you know, and then I've got this lingering, maybe not, cancer diagnosis that's about to befall me. Like, so that whole season was not a happy time for me.
Right. And I mentioned educator, but I didn't tell them at what level you were teaching. And so tell us a little bit about the fact that you also had a job, and
Right,
you're
I'm
responsible
working-
for what type of student?
Working full time during the pandemic, going through all of the different pivots to online instruction, face-to-face instruction. I teach our gifted resource program, where I would see about 80 students throughout the week, of different age levels and grade levels. So there was just, you know, just life happening.
Wow.
And
So many things.
you know, wanting to apply for administrative jobs, just thinking about the future as young people do, you know.
That's right.
But then here's cancer.
Wow. So finally we got that mammogram, I'm assuming, and after you got the mammogram, did they give you a stage right away? What did they recommend for treatment? Get us to the point where you had that mammogram and now the word is being used. Tell us about that.
Okay, so this was my very first mammogram. So of course, you know, I'm all in my head about, well, what's this gonna be like? Because you hear about, oh, they pull and tug and it hurts and blah, blah, blah. But the technician was a young Black girl, and we kind of connected. So she actually made it fun.
Wait, a fun mammogram?
I know that sounds weird.
Folks.
I know that sounds weird, but you know, her personality was very bubbly. She was, girl, you got this. You know, I got you. It's gonna be okay. And then we laughed about, okay, they have to pull and tug. Now they do have to pull and tug on you girls. But if you kind of like me, you got a little stomach. And so sometimes the stomach can get inside the machine. So
Wait, did you say inside the machine?
yes.
Okay, we got
And so she had to press down and say, okay, we don't need that part. We're just doing.
We're trying to see this.
part.
We're trying to see this.
So we, you know, just laughed about that. So
Good.
that kind of eased
Good.
everything for me. So she explained that after the mammogram, you would come sit in this waiting area.
Sure.
And then they would tell you if the radiologist needed to see you for an ultrasound. And she told me that, it's common that he wants to double check.
Right, both.
Both.
Ultrasound and mammogram.
Mm-hmm. So I go sit in the waiting area and she comes back. So I'm like, me going, yes, I'm like, uh-oh.
Okay.
Still telling myself we're just getting information.
That's right.
Then I get to the ultrasound room. The ultrasound tech is, talking to me about school and, just getting familiar with me. Then she does the exam. And then the radiologist comes back and he says, 9 times out of 10, what we saw in your images comes back as cancer. And I lost it. I completely lost it.
Were you at this appointment by yourself?
No, my mom and my aunt from Columbus, my Aunt Miranda and my mother came up with me.
Wow.
And so I just begged, like I didn't want to hear anything else.
Mm.
I just begged for them to go get my mom.
Okay, so that's good to know. So at that point of physically hearing that, you were in the room, just you and the doctor.
And the tech.
And is that because of COVID, or that's just they wouldn't have someone else in the room when
Right.
they do that?
Right.
Okay, it's a privacy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So thank you so much for sharing with us that now you have this news and you called for your mom right away. They brought your mom in, but what happens after you get a mammogram and you get an ultrasound and the doctors say 9 times out of 10 this is cancer? What was next for you?
Well, the next step was a biopsy where they take a tissue sample from the breast and the lymph nodes. So that actually happened after the new year because remember I said this took place during December 2020, so it's Christmas season. Plus we got COVID still upon us, and so my mom and my aunt and I, we just packed up and went home. We got the biopsy scheduled for January 4th. So I just did my best to enjoy my family during the holiday season. I tried to keep my mind on just happy things, just being around family, being able to see my nieces and nephews and my brothers and my parents, aunts and uncles, just everything that fills the holiday with joy. I try to push myself into it. But then I, at night would have those moments where my mind just goes to, OMG, like I might have cancer.
At how old again? 37?
At 37.
At 37
What?
years old. Right. And it's holidays.
It's the holidays.
Well, since it was like the 9 times out of 10 and since it was pre-biopsy, did you decide not to tell family during that time, or you all went on and said, hey, this is going on right now with Kelly? What did you do?
We went ahead and told family. Okay. And my mom's sister, Aunt Sheila, I hope she doesn't mind me saying she's a breast cancer survivor. She has been my right hand and a coach like before anything was confirmed. And she told me that, she talked about the scripture where Abraham had to sacrifice Isaac and that there was provision already made to get through that test. And so I held on to that then, and now. So anyway, uncles, aunties, everybody, we told them, and everybody's been right by my side throughout this entire process. So
let me put a pin in that.
Okay.
And so this isn't a means to call anyone out. However, I am very familiar from personal experience. I'm very familiar from talking to other friends and family members that sometimes we keep a lot of secrets. Sometimes things very serious are going on with an individual, with another family member or whatever, and no one knows it all because for some reason we just decided not to share. I hope you all heard that Kelly said she had not had a biopsy yet. There's just a 9 out of 10 chance that she has cancer, but there was no confirmed cancer in her body, yet she still chose to share. She thought enough of her family members thought enough of the fact that, you know what, this weight and this burden is too heavy. I don't care to carry this by myself. So let me go to these people who I know love me and know care about me. And there was it doesn't sound like there was any threat in that for you. You were fine sharing.
I was fine sharing.
Yeah.
Which I will say that I've gotten more comfortable with sharing over time.
Sure, of course.
You know,
of course.
So like I said, everybody, brothers, parents, everybody just showered me with, you know, love and support and encouragement, and we've got your back no matter what. So,
but if you had to give a recommendation to anybody who's watching, would you go ahead and just share right away, or would you hold on to that information?
I would go ahead and share right away with people you trust.
Of course.
Okay, of course. With people who you are really comfortable with, and you trust sharing such huge, you know, intimate information.
Right. So you're home for Christmas right now. You're around family, and it is COVID times. Like people are, you know, that's going on. What were the holidays like for you as you're heading up to January 4th, trying to get back here for a biopsy?
Well, so my brother calls and says he's gotten his yearly sinus infection at Christmas time. It never fails. So he goes and gets tested for COVID, and it comes back positive.
He didn't have that yearly sinus infection.
No. So there's a picture of us, a family picture after we ate dinner, had a great time, enjoying everybody, opening presents. And so everybody, I believe, on the left side of the picture got COVID.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So now I'm like, okay, I'm waiting on a biopsy to happen to confirm cancer. And I gotta watch, you know, to see if I come down with symptoms and go get tested for COVID.
Were you on the left side of the photo?
Yes.
Oh, Kelly was on the left side of the photo, everybody. So, oh man, in between finding this alarm and getting the ultrasound and everything, waiting on a biopsy, it's the holidays. You just told me you came down with COVID.
Right.
Wow.
So I hadn't been sleeping well throughout that Christmas break time.
Sure.
So I didn't know if my drowsiness was due to COVID or my regular allergies, because I didn't really come down with any severe symptoms. So I didn't think that I had COVID. I was wearing my mask.
Of course.
I stayed in my room away from everybody else after he made that phone call. So my mom and I drive back up to Savannah, and thank God for my mom. Like, she has been through the ringer. We go to the biopsy. I make it through that, and it wasn't anything to worry about. Like, now that I look back over it, pretty much I would say anxiety is what would cause any pain.
Got it.
But if you relax, which I counted through the whole procedure, just to take my mind off of things. So anyway, then you just wait. You have to wait, I think it was 3 to 5 business days. So I get tested for COVID, and it does come back positive. And they told me, well, ma'am, you probably are one of those asymptomatic people, because I was still getting outside, walking, you know, 3 laps around my complex. I did have to work from home while I was waiting on those results. So that Thursday, I had just gotten offline with my second graders, and the phone rang, and it was the radiologist, and he called and said, Miss Greene, we have your results back, and they are positive for cancer. And I said, okay, you know, took in a deep breath, and then, you know, he went through, I don't even know what he said. I remember him saying, we'll get you set up with a doctor, or you can find your own.
That's just,
but it's just
you have no idea
like not registering. You know, I'm in that moment of, you have cancer.
So when you said you're working from home, I'm assuming when this phone call came, you were at home by yourself. Your mother was not here.
By myself. My mom had gone home after the biopsy appointment. And so, so yeah, I just went and I laid on my bed. I was silent. Like, I have never felt like something just shut me off, shut me down, to where I couldn't utter a word. And I just went and laid on my bed and sobbed for about an hour.
Wow. Okay. Well, Kelly, so you're at the point of now knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that you have cancer. And when did you find out, like, what type of cancer that you have? When was that explained to you?
During my first appointment with the breast surgeon, she explained that I have what's called triple negative breast cancer.
Okay.
There's different subtypes of breast cancer. I know we just had Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A lot of people think that, you know, breast cancer is just breast cancer, but
Right. That's all I know.
it's not. There's different types of breast cancer. And so mine is called triple negative.
Okay.
And what that means is there's 3 different hormones. One's a protein that they test the cells to see what's driving the cancer. And then that's how they know how to treat it. But mine has neither one of those 3 hormones or proteins.
Oh, wow.
So it's harder to treat. So yeah, that first appointment with the breast surgeon is when I found out about it. It's common in young African American women. It is treatable, but like I said, it's one of the harder ones to treat.
Wow. Okay. All right. So Kelly, just a very big thank you for talking to us from the very beginning, the whole discovery, which is what we named this first episode. We want to intentionally keep these kind of short and succinct for you all because we want you to be able to digest everything. But you literally walked us from the beginning to the possible diagnosis, to the diagnosis, and then even sharing with us just now that this is called triple negative breast cancer. And so we thank you for being on the platform today. Thank you so much for just kind of kicking all this off, and we know you have more to say in the coming weeks, and so right, we know you have more to say. So you all please come back next week. Kelly's going to do a second episode, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about how she copes with things and things like that, because she truly is in a new norm. And so thank you again, and we hope you all like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you back next week. Thanks.